All guests on ZASLOW Show 2.0 brought to us by the official beer of the program. You know we're talking Johnny Cuba, European roots with that Caribbean soul, a refreshing German lager in a can. You know that's the only beer we keep in the ZASLOW mansion. Go to johnnycuba.us. You can find the nearest location to you. Go pick up a six-pack. Make sure you always drink responsibly. And, of course, don't forget Johnny Cuba's mantra, stay tranquilo. Joining us now is our pal, Evan Cohen. ESPN Radio, 6 10 a.m. Eastern, every morning, unsportsmanlike, along with hot take machine gun Chris Canty and Michelle Smallman. Evan, how you doing? Good to see you.
Zaz, hello. Is hot take machine gun a compliment or an insult? What are you trying to do to Canty here?
Oh, for your job, it's a tremendous compliment. Are you kidding me? I mean, he's just pumping out the hot takes, machine gun style. You know, he doesn't need to reload.
You know what though? He's right on most of them.
The one most recently to me where it's like, and I brought this up a couple days ago with Fortenbaugh, was Canty was out in front of this Mike Tomlin Pittsburgh Steelers thing before everybody. It sounded like crazy talk a month ago when the Steelers were sitting at like 10-5, and Canty brought it up. He's like, I can see us now. It doesn't look like there's going to be a divorce now, but Canty brought it up. It sounded crazy to them. Not so crazy.
Week 2 or 3, he said the Cowboys are closer to a rebuild than a championship.
I thought that was nuts.
And he's right.
Yeah.
I mean, they're voluntarily, like, they rebuilding in some cases, and they never should have brought back any of the people they brought back relative to long-term deals. Not like at all. I'm saying they would have been in better shape right now if Dak was on an expiring contract.
Right.
If CeeDee Lamb wasn't signed long-term. Anyway. But yes, hi Zaz, how are you? We're already in it. Wow.
Listen, we'll go right into material. We don't need a pussyfoot or dance around this. Now, before we get into real serious,
specifically for you today, you haven't picked up on this.
Yeah.
There's nobody that has more ESPN Radio gear than Zaz. Zaz has more gear than shifts, and so I have one shirt, the vest that I could wear that I had to wear for Zaz today to match the Zaz ESPN Radio gear.
That's right. Look at that. For those of you who are watching on the YouTube channel, Evan Cohen, he's got the ESPN Radio vest on. I will likely be bringing that with me to Atlanta. We're going to the national championship. Me and Amber Wilson will be bringing that on Monday. Rashad Jennings is a maybe. You never know. But definitely me and Amber, we will be there on Monday. Before we get to the real serious stuff here, you were in town here in South Florida a few weeks ago. You're a big WWE guy now. All right. You took your family. You went and saw WWE, saw a house show here in Miami. So come on, Evan. We're a little more than 2 weeks away. Royal Rumble. Are you into it?
I'm doing the John Cena. You can see, right? That, like, he's a huge part of it. I saw Punk the other night is going to be a part of it. Seth Rollins comes out in that spot. I am someone that grew up absolutely loving WWE. I love the Attitude Era, obviously, with NWO and DX. I got away from it for a while, but never was a hater. I think everything that any entertainment business does is based on wrestling. Like, everything we do, radio and television, is based on wrestling in terms of heels, faces, good guys, bad guys, good girls, bad girls, whatever it may be, women, the whole deal, right? Like, I think it's such a core of doing things right in terms of show business and entertainment. And my son is 11. He is obsessed with it beyond belief. And so he's dragged me back into this. But, like, you know, I'm doing the Jey Uso thing. You know, I'm doing Yeet, LA Knight. Yeah. Like, I'm doing all this. It's terrible. I hate it.
Last couple of days, I've been doing shows with Fortenbaugh. And Fortenbaugh is into wrestling, too. He
Big
loves
time.
it. I told him, like, Fortenbaugh, why don't you send Tessitore a text? Can you get us tickets to Royal Rumble? Let's go. Indianapolis. Get in touch with Tessitore. Let's do it.
Does he know Joe Tessitore?
Yeah, he knows him.
Okay, I don't know him. I've not had the pleasure of speaking with him yet. Yeah, Fortenbaugh is a very big wrestling guy. One thing about Fortenbaugh I've realized, he and I, way more similar than I would have thought. He's a homebody. He's somebody that wants to do nothing with anyone other than work. He's kind of me, and I'm kind of him, if you really think about it.
Well, and he's also very into his appearance. You know, on television, you're way into your appearance as well.
Yes, it's not a good one. I'll tell you that much for me. Joe looks a lot better than I do. I've checked myself out 20 times in this Zoom already.
So do you have a pick for a Royal Rumble? Are you going Cena?
Well, tell me something. Why are they bringing him back to not at least be in the final two?
Well, I mean, he's doing a farewell.
Eliminate him midway through, right?
I don't know, but he's doing a farewell year, so it's not like, hey, you got eliminated the Royal Rumble. Why'd you bring him back? Like, he's full time for the next year. So honestly, Evan, I think he's going to win it. I think he's winning the Royal Rumble.
So, question on this: are the pay-per-views now part of Netflix, or is it separate on the pay-per-view?
No, Netflix only has Raw, and they have like a library of past Raws. Netflix is just for Raw. The pay-per-views and all the the network is still on Peacock. That's where you go.
So you get the pay-per-view off of Peacock.
Yeah, which you're paying like $9.99 a month. What a deal! When I was in college, I gotta get a
Peacock. I get the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, man. What's the matter with you? Come on.
Oh boy, I better not tell my son that.
You gotta watch. What do you? How about $9.99 a month? When I was in college, we're getting a WWF pay-per-view. My cable bill every month had an extra $39.99 buying every pay-per-view. Now, $9.99. That's a great deal, Evan. Tell your son.
All right. Well, no, I have Peacock, so it's just actually watching it that night.
You know what was the move we used to do when I was in college? You get like 5 or 6 friends. You all put money into the pot for the Royal Rumble, and you draw numbers. And those are your numbers. And whoever comes out during the Rumble, that's your guy. And the winner, you have that number, you get the pot.
I like that. We could do that. When is the Royal Rumble? I don't even know.
February 1st. It's in 2 weeks from this Saturday.
Oh, so it's on a Saturday?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's good. I don't want it. Sunday is tricky for me. Saturday I can maybe watch.
Nah, Saturday's good. Let's put together a group. Let's draw some numbers. Let's win some money. Come on now.
You want me to put together the Royal Rumble pool? Who do you want in that pool? Me, you, and who else?
You're the social chair. There's a lot of ESPN people. I don't know if they're in the closet over it, but there's a lot of ESPN people who love wrestling. Fortenbaugh loves it. Arda Ocal was on my show yesterday. He loves WWE.
Well, he used to work for the WWE, right?
Oh, did he? Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe. Field Yates loves WWE. Who else? Carlin likes WWE. He's been in New York, but that's okay. We still love him. Carlin loves WWE. Who else? I think Byron Metcalf is into WWE also. Yeah.
Emmett's been a big fan forever.
Of course. WWE. Come on. I just gave you the whole pool. All right, you set it up.
Okay. Yeah. I won't do that. Sure. Yeah, won't happen.
Tomorrow night, Evan Cohen, Friday night, the Heat are hosting the Denver Nuggets. Jimmy Butler apparently is going to return. Does he get booed?
I saw your tweet on that. I'm hoping not, but this is such a tricky thing. What's happening right now? It's so sad. Like, let me give you my big picture on this.
Yep.
Okay. My big picture is this. I don't believe, despite what's going on now, us as Heat fans should say anything negative about Jimmy Butler. The years that he gave to the organization were phenomenal. The rides he took us on as fans in the bubble and then a couple of years ago were so unexpected and in a way a different type of, I'll use his word, joy than the big three. Not better nor worse, just different type of feeling. The big three, we expected it. Even Shaq and Wade, we expected it. The unexpected, out of nowhere finals run is a feeling as a fan that is almost unmatched.
Yeah.
And it's almost more exciting at times than winning expectedly. I know that sounds crazy, but the Tatum, the Bam block, that run in the bubble, all of his games when he's fallen over against the Lakers, the Butler game against Milwaukee, the 50-some-odd point game a couple of years ago, what he gave for this organization was absolutely phenomenal. What is happening now, I am truly sad about for him. And the reason I say that is I don't understand how later in life he doesn't regret what's happening right now. I don't understand how a person that had a home that was loved and embraced, and the door was not closed. It was postponed as to whether it was open or closed. I believe they would have absolutely considered giving him a contract extension if he would have played this season like he's capable of and like we know he can. He chose not to do that. He always said it was not about money. It is. That's okay. It's his right, but he did say otherwise. He said he didn't care about scoring. Okay, he has proven that in the past. The moment that Tyler became the number one option, he was not as comfortable in the offense. Okay, maybe you don't care about scoring when you know you're the number one option, and then when you're not, it feels different. And he always said he was going to retire, remember the Heat. He now is not only not going to retire, remember the Heat, he is likely going to sever ties with the organization forever in a way that is so unnecessary to have happened. And I'm sad for him because he's going to be an NBA nomad that will not have a home when he's done. And so when Friday night rolls around, if he's going to be on the team, I would urge fans not to boo Jimmy Butler. Instead, to just welcome him back in a way that hopefully for the next part of this season, we get the ending. We know it's coming, but we try to do it with a walk out on top, make another run, prove your value, prove your worth, et cetera, et cetera. That's what I'm hoping. The reality is Udonis and Zoe better be everywhere he is because I'm afraid.
Is he in the starting lineup tomorrow night?
I think it causes more problems if he's not. I think if he is, and I'm saying this more for legal reasons.
I mean, what kind of message is it to the rest of the team that he's in the starting lineup?
It's a message of we don't want to go to court for like all the stuff that they're doing, right, with the legalese on this. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but let me explain. If the Heat show goodwill, good faith, we want him to be a part of it, and he stands in the corner, it's easier to fight any grievance. What do you mean we didn't want you? You started after missing 7 games. You immediately went back into your old role. We immediately went back into the same offense we always went to. You're choosing, unfortunately, not to play, not to do this, not to do that. I thought it was going to be a little bit easier than I do now to re-enter him into the team and just say, like, hey, this is not going to happen. You're not going to get traded, at least yet. The best way for you to end up on another team is to be amazing and to prove us wrong. Go ahead. Prove us wrong. Stick 2 big middle fingers up at the organization on the way out. Go ahead. Prove us wrong. It'll be easier for you to get to where you want to get to if you're great. Because now, reportedly, the Nets don't want him. They're the only team with cap space. The Suns are not providing an offer the Heat are interested in. And a third team is not helping in this case. I don't know how he gets out of here. And he desperately needs the Heat because he cares about money, which is his right. But he needs the Heat to facilitate whatever it is that he wants after the season.
Right. So what do you make of, apparently, the latest report was that he told the Heat face-to-face he wants to trade and that he plans on picking up his option next season as a trade maneuver. So it's almost like we're now in a new game of chicken where he's saying, I'm going to pick up the option, and the Heat could be like, yeah, well, that doesn't mean that we're going to trade you because we don't necessarily want to take back all of that money. So this is like a new wrinkle now in this scenario.
Yeah, but there'll be more teams that'll be clear on what their future is, and he's now an expiring contract versus one that you're going to have to deal with over the summer. Because if you think about over the summer, the same thing could happen with the incoming team. So let's say he goes to Milwaukee, Memphis, Sacramento, any of the teams that we've heard, right? Houston, the Warriors. And he is just heading into free agency. He could say, well, I want a long-term deal. No, like we wanted you as a rental for this year, or we want you to pick up the 52 for next year. We want you on a 2-year deal, not a 3-year deal. That now becomes a thing. I don't know all the rules on this, as I believe there is an extension window, but if he picks up the option, it no longer is a sign and trade. That's the part of this that I think people have missed. The sign and trade would be a long-term deal. The 1-year deal is the $52 million deal. So I don't know that there's a market for him. And I also think what's shrewd by the Heat is the longer this goes, the more the Suns lose, the more likely it is the Suns start to break up their team than actually add to their team, which would force him into having other options around the league.
What do you make of the conversation around, I guess specifically Riley, where, he hasn't made a big move in several years. My usual comeback there is, last year the Heat wanted Lillard. Lillard wanted the Heat. How did the deal not get done? Both sides want each other. It just goes to show you how difficult making a deal actually is that deal still couldn't get done. So what do you make of the criticism that the Heat fan likes to hurl the last few years of Pat Riley?
So you want Pat Riley to make a big move is what the Heat fan is saying, right? Would you like to trade Jimmy Butler as part of that move? Why am I – this is the thing that I don't understand. The thing that we all loved about Jimmy Butler is he loved being in the mud and climbing out of it. And he would be the last person to tell you he needs help. Last person to tell you he needs help. In addition, the reports are he loved Gabe Vincent, Max Strus, Caleb Martin. Okay? Factually, his career could not flourish. I'm not blaming him. I'm blaming the circumstance. With number 1 overall pick, Karl Anthony Towns, number 1 overall pick, Andrew Wiggins, number 1 overall pick, Ben Simmons, number 1 overall pick, Derrick Rose. 4 number 1 overall picks that he didn't perfectly mesh with. And by the way, every single time he was right. There was something wrong with the Bulls. There was something wrong with the T-Wolves. There's something wrong with the Sixers. He was right every single time. When did he flourish? When he had guys like him who climbed out of the mud, right? So the reports out there that he needed help and they didn't put him over the top, I don't buy that. The part I buy is he wanted some of these muddy guys to stay with him. But he plays for an organization that tried keeping the guys in the mud too long, and that's how they got him, because they realized, why the heck is Whiteside still here? Why is Deion Waiters still here? Why is James Johnson – well, Deion Waiters, bad example, top 5 there. Why is Tyler Johnson still here? Why is James Johnson – like, oh, wow, we probably gave them bad contracts. We're not going to do that again because we can create the next version of that. So Haywood Highsmith and Josh Christopher, who I know was a first-round pick, but, and Kashad Johnson, like, that's Drew Smith. That's what they do. They find more guys in the mud. So I don't understand what it is that everyone wanted here. If Jimmy Butler is your best player, which he is, your surrounding cast needs to be people like him. If Jimmy Butler is not your best player, you have a better chance of bringing in stars and flourishing with those stars. So when Jimmy's your guy, Caleb's types are your complementary pieces. When Bam and Tyler are your guys, you can bring in Kevin Durant to knock them down a little bit. Like, it's totally different. That is not a knock on anyone involved. That is just the reality of this team and how they're built with him, rightfully so, as their best player.
Your best guess, is he moved by the deadline?
So when I've come up with a million trades on this, as you know, I live on the trade machine.
You love it.
The ones that made the most sense, obviously Memphis was an obvious one. And I think Memphis would be unreal if he went there. I don't know why.
Do you believe those reports that there are certain teams that he's refusing to go to?
Yeah, because I think that it's clear his goal is a contract extension. And I don't think all of those teams would be willing to do that at this point with 35 years old. Right? So Memphis, if you can easily come up with a trade where the starting lineup in Memphis would be John Morant, Desmond Bane, Jimmy Butler, Jaren Jackson Jr., and Zach Edey. That's an awesome team, right? He would get Brandon Clark, they would get Marcus Smart, and they would probably get, either John Conchar or other pieces right in that. The ones that I keep falling back to in my head now, of what are the most logical ones, are trading Jimmy Butler for Jimmy Butler. And what I mean by that is a player that's past, I don't think Jimmy's past his prime, but hear what I'm saying. A player that's on the back half of his prime years, high contract, that you can give the ball to, and they could score 20-plus points at any given point.
You got that guy in mind?
DeMar DeRozan, Chris Middleton, right? When healthy, those two are obvious guys for me that make sense to center a deal around. That's not getting you better for the future. It's getting you to the exact same spot you are right now, and probably worse in the postseason when it comes to DeRozan. If healthy, Chris Middleton is an awesome postseason player. Awesome. He's just not healthy, right? He's on the bench. Those were the ones that kind of made the most sense to me because it's keeping the same path here with this team. At this point, I think the Heat would be willing to keep this going and not trade him because he's not going to be able to bully them. It's Pat Riley. And there's been a thought that's been out there that I think is very interesting. The grievance for the suspension by the Players Association has not been filed.
Oh, is that right?
Now, why?
I don't know. Don't they normally do it on their own? You don't even have to request it.
Not if you're not going to win. Not if the team who filed or who made the suspension knew the grievance would be coming and submitted the information, as Tim Hardaway said on NBA radio, prior to the grievance. Oh, crap. You got all of this?
Right.
Oh, boy. They know. Jimmy, slight problem. So they said this, and this happened. And they say they have proof of all of this. I don't mean crime. Jimmy Butler's I think deep down he's a good person. He was an amazing member of the Heat. I think there were games he didn't try as hard as he could have in others. There were probably events and things he didn't show up to. There were probably who runs Miami more than anybody in sports? Pat Riley. Jimmy Butler's supposed to be somewhere. He's somewhere else. Who can get that video in about 4 seconds?
Yeah.
I'm not saying
anything
is true. I'm saying, why would they not immediately say, are you kidding? You can't suspend him for 7 games. That hasn't happened.
Yeah, I haven't thought about that. That's a good point.
Because if you believe, I thought Tim Hardaway said that kind of in jest, like, oh, he's got.
I thought so. I thought so too. But you think that he had information?
No, I think Tim Hardaway is probably drawing back on something that's happened in his life.
That's what I think. I think he's imagining this is what happened. Like, I don't think Tim actually knows.
Correct.
But I think Tim is like, this is definitely what went down.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's how I would think about it. I mean, this is, again, Zaz, Jimmy Butler was an awesome member of the Miami Heat. Jimmy Butler took this franchise places that we didn't think they could go with the team that they had. I am forever thankful for the fun that he provided me as a Heat fan. And I am forever sad that it ends this way for him and that this is how he chose to do this, which is his right. I just wish it could have been done differently.
I'm with you, man.
And you know what else? Everyone is relitigating a lot of other things. Like, I've been told multiple times, speculatively, not reporting, that the Dwayne Wade statue speech was all about Jimmy Butler.
Right. I've seen that too.
You know, like, everybody says that part of it. I don't know what's true and what's not, right? I know that Dwayne Wade has helped. I know that Dwayne Wade has helped the Miami Heat organization more than anyone has, right? And I know that Udonis has been pretty quiet on this. Zoe has been, not that Zoe talks, but Zoe is, you don't hear anything. Like, I think they're sad. I think they're all like broken by this. Like, really? Why did you need to do this? I don't get it. Yeah,
you're ruining it.
But it's not even ruining it now. It's ruining it later.
Yeah. You're not LeBron, where eventually you're going to be able to come back. Like, this is you're
no, but this was never going to be LeBron's home.
No, but like, they're going to honor LeBron one day down the road,
right?
Whether I agree with it or not.
But the point that I'm making is, if LeBron wanted to burn the place down on his way out, okay, Cleveland was always going to, the Cavalier organization was always going to be his home.
Yeah, it's like, where's Jimmy's home? Where's your home? It's very similar to Durant. Like, where's Durant's home at the end of the day?
I think Durant would have an easier time at this moment going back to both Oklahoma City and Golden State than Jimmy would going back to Miami.
Yeah. The Durant Oklahoma City thing is a little bit rough. Durant Golden State, you could definitely.
Golden State would honor him in 2 seconds. It'd be like, holy
State for
you're unbelievable. They love him.
Oklahoma City, that could be a little bit rough for Durant.
I get it. I'm not arguing that, but like, I still think it may have ended better than this.
Yeah, it sucks.
It does. It sucks. It's unnecessary. What you answer the question? What is your gut feeling? February 7th, day after the trade deadline. Where is Jimmy?
I think the Heat are dead set on getting to the offseason and having and making the move then, hoping that he walks. But if he doesn't walk, having ample amount of time to come up with the right trade if he opts into that final year. I just don't think. I think teams they smell blood in the water, and the Heat. Look, the Heat. There are haves and there are have-nots in the NBA. The Heat are one of the haves, and the haves don't wind up trading away superstars for pennies on the dollar. The Heat are not. The Heat are the team that gets the superstar for pennies on the dollar. So I don't think there's a trade to be made in the middle of the season, because the Heat are not gonna make a deal where they don't believe that they won the deal.
Yeah, and one the deal is tricky because it's not always winning the deal now. It's setting this up to do that or whatever it may be, right? Like I don't know how we define winning the deal. Is there someone specifically that you have heard rumored that you would say, you know what, I'd like that trade. That would be a good trade.
No, because we haven't heard anything. Like all we're hearing outside of Bradley Beal, all we've heard is there's a couple offers out there. They're shitty. The Heat don't like them. Like we haven't heard anything.
And would you take Bradley Beal just to be like, let's get this over with and deal with Bradley Beal later?
Yeah. No. I wouldn't even consider it. No. Especially because he really plays the exact position that Hero does. And Hero is like so good. Like that's the only saving grace of this situation is that, okay, at least we got our future top scorer in the organization. You know, that's the saving grace of what's going on right now. Is I love watching Tyler Hero play. It's been phenomenal.
Well, I think there's a lot of guys that are enjoyable to watch play. I think Nico has been enjoyable to play. Jaquez is finding himself again. He's been enjoyable to watch. Kel'el Ware is obviously insanely enjoyable. Then there's the person that should be the best player of the team that's not in Bam, right? Like that's
Bam. What a weird year he's having, man. What a weird year.
Very odd. You know, the other thing that I've said from the beginning, and I don't think it's going to happen now, but I thought from the beginning of this, the goal should have been for the Heat to somehow turn Jimmy Butler into Zion Williamson and roll the dice. And I'm not thinking that's going to necessarily happen. And obviously,
because New Orleans is so bad. Like Jimmy would throw such a fit.
No, not for him to go there, for it to be a 3-team deal. You know, for that to happen, right? And then the other part of this is, would you be willing to send him somewhere that would be the quote unquote unthinkable? Like, oh my God, he's on that team. What do I mean? Would you send him to Philly if Philly sent Paul George to the Warriors and the Heat got the Warriors package?
Yeah, like why would I care about? I don't care what we send Jimmy Butler.
Okay, well, some people like there's the version of that always works.
Like I don't. Okay, you know what? Let me take it back. I don't want them to trade him to the Knicks because the Knicks would definitely like Thibodeau would love to be reunited with Jimmy Butler. I don't want to trade Jimmy Butler.
But if you can get OG, you make that trade if you're the Heat.
Yeah, right. But I guess I just don't feel like the Knicks.
If you can get Bridges, you make that trade if you're the Heat.
Boy, trading Butler to the Knicks would be a tough pill to swallow.
But that's why I asked you what I asked you, right? There's that's the desperation piece. How desperate are you to not have him on the team? Not because you're hating on him, but because it's time to move on for everybody.
No, my team improving is by far the most important thing. So I would have to swallow that pill.
Right. This is not going to happen. But if you traded him to the Knicks for OG Anunoby, that is a great trade for the Miami Heat.
Yeah.
You would have to live with that.
Yeah, I'd have to deal with that.
Right? And by the way, when healthy, and that trade doesn't 100% work, but when healthy, if you have a team of Mitchell Robinson, Cat, Jimmy Butler, Mikal Bridges, and Jalen Brunson with Josh Hart off the bench, that team could go to the finals.
Yeah, that's why it's a tough pill to swallow if you're a Heat fan, if that's where you'd send them.
But that's what I'm asking you, right? So these are probably all the things, because I have done the trade machine with every single team in the NBA. I promise you.
Now, overall, I need my team to benefit the most. I'll accept whatever consequences come with that, even if I don't like it. Evan, excellent job. You said it all. 10 a.m. Eastern, unsportsmanlike, along with Michelle Smallman and Hot Take Machine Gun Chris Canty. Anything for you to plug? Anything going on? Anything special?
We're going to the Super Bowl. We're going to do shows from the Super Bowl Wednesday.
I saw you're going to be in the Airstream. That's my studio.
We'll leave a snack for me in there. I've been in there with you, by the way.
That's right.
I've been very sweaty walking from there into a stadium only to leave without seeing a play.
Oh, well, what a disaster that was for you.
What a disaster. I'm still sweating from that.
You're going to be at the Super Bowl? Anything else?
No, just listen to us or watch us on ESPN2, ESPNU, ESPN Radio all across the country. Sirius XM 80, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern.
Awesome job, Evan. Thank you, pal. I appreciate you.
Good boy, Zaz.